Welcome back, fish keepers. So on this episode, I think it's a very interesting one. It's dirting the tank and capping it with sand. So as you will see in the next steps, I am going to start filling in this bucket with some potting mix. And if you haven't seen what type of potting mix I used, you can see from hopefully the corner top right. But if not, you can look at one of my previous videos that kind of outlines everything that I've purchased for this specific build. So here I'm going to add the potting mix into the 5-gallon bucket, and I will go through multiple iterations of making this mud so you'll get to see it in full detail. Well, I like to add extra nutrients into the soil to make it that much more rich for the plants. Here's a screenshot of bone meal that I like to add. I also add Osmocote Plus, which is fantastic for plant growth in my opinion. And then lastly, I add blood meal. I don't have a specific quantity that I add into the bucket or into the mix. I just kind of eyeball it, but probably about half a cup is what I add of each one. And then I mix everything together. Now we're adding it into the aquarium. So this section is pretty fun, just because, again, you have to make sure that when you pour inside the aquarium that it does not add most of the water, because you do your best to not add too much water, because it has to be a thick mud, not necessarily something that's really wet and it's very moist. And so here you can kind of see how I'm making it, and you see how I'm adding little bits of water as I go. All right, so I'm pouring it into the aquarium again, and I'm just spreading the mud evenly. All right, and here I'm showing you what it looks like once it's in there. As you can see, it's not really like a soft mud, it's more like a thicker mud. And this is important. The depth, I like to have usually 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Here, I'm washing the sand. This is very important. Do not skip this step. If not, you're going to have a very cloudy aquarium. You have to maybe do this 2 or 3 times. In this episode, I do it about, I think, 3 times, but it's really time-lapse, so you probably won't see me doing it more than just once. Then I pour it into the aquarium. This step is, be a bit careful with this. Don't just dump it all in one area. Slowly dump it in. Make sure that the water that used to clean the sand, try and reduce as much of it as you can from going into the aquarium, because it kind of makes the mixture mix with the dirt. So then you just pour it and then just evenly spread it on top of the dirt. All right, I think this was the last bucket. So I'm spreading it evenly around, and I will show you in just a few minutes how much sand I use to cap this dirt. Okay, so here we're filling it with water. And I like to use that clamp just to hold the hose in place. And as you can see, the water is very clean, and this is because we thoroughly rinsed the sand. If we didn't do that, this would be a completely cloudy mess. And also because we capped it, I capped it about 3 inches thick with the sand, and honestly, because of that, it did a great job. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed.